You're listening to a Brain Stew Fresh Fright Review.
What's up, creeps? Welcome to another Epic Film Guys Fresh Fright Review. I'm your host, Justin, and once again joined by none other than my good friend Phil from the Spookhouse podcast. Bro, what the fuck is up on this Friday?
What is up, man? As always, happy to be here. Ready to talk about some good Australian horror with you. Feel like we haven't gotten any of this in a while.
Yeah, very, very true. I can't think of the last. I mean, wait a minute. Hold on now. The Philippou brothers. Are they Australian?
Oh, I should know this. I'm pretty sure they're from New Zealand.
Okay, New Zealand. There it is.
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
not the same thing. I just thought of their accents.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah,
Pretty damn close.
sometimes I would be, I'd say close enough, but that's not politically correct. And I try to be.
Yeah, I apologize. Yes,
2025 Justin on Epic Film Guys tries his best. Someone yelled at me because I said in our last episode, I talked about Fear Street Prom Queen, and someone was like, oh my God, you said that those girls in the movie were bitchy. And I was like, they were fucking bitchy. I was just saying the truth.
I can attest to that. I have not watched that yet. I hear awful things.
You don't need to. Ever for the rest of your life. Every other slasher you've watched is probably better than that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's right. Phil said it correctly. We are here to talk about Dangerous Animals, the new horror thriller from Sean Byrne, known for The Devil's Candy, The Loved Ones. Hasn't made a movie in almost 10 years, but yes, Australian filmmaker back with a shark thriller starring Jai Courtney. And when I saw he was in the movie, I almost immediately said, I will never fucking watch that because I hate Jai Courtney. But I did remember after I was texting you, I was like, man, I kind of thought he was okay in The Suicide Squad. I just remember when they tried to reboot the Terminator franchise with Terminator Genesis, and they cast him as Kyle Reese. He was unbearably horrible in that movie. And ever since then, everything he was in. Yeah, again, another movie. If you wanted to see it,
Sure.
but you don't need to see. But I will say, when I saw the trailer for this pop up as a paid-for ad on YouTube a few weeks back, I was like, whoa, okay. He's dancing in his underwear. It looks entertaining enough. There's a shark. There's a chick chained to a bed in a bottom hull of a boat. Cool. I'll go see this shit. And with Shudder's name on it, usually if it's getting a theatrical release, I'll try to make it out for this. Now, you got to see this earlier than I did at an Alamo Draft House.
I did, yes.
What was that experience like for you?
It was not a packed house. I was telling you earlier, I don't think this movie is gonna crush it at the box office, unfortunately. Which, it's always a disappointment because I want to see original horror do well.
Sure.
But still, seeing it in the theater, it was a fun time. And per usual, Alamo always coming through with the cool movie promo items. So I did get this.
Dude, that is insane.
This giant inflatable inner tube, full size, cup holder and everything.
It even has the movie's logo on it. It's got the shark mouth. That's
on the headrest.
fucking rad, dude. That's so cool. That's so cool. Crazy enough, I work for Alamo Draft House as a horror host, and we in our region here did not pick it up. I had to go to my local AMC to see it, and we didn't even get anything early for it here. I don't think there was a lot of promotion for this. We were talking about that pre-show in regards to box office. I could not find how much this movie cost to make, but I can tell by watching it, it's got to be under $5 million. I have to say.
Probably, yeah.
Definitely not. I would say under 10 for sure, guaranteed. And it's not to say the movie looks cheap. There's a lot of great looking shots in it, some good cinematography. Yep. Not all of the CGI is acceptable in my view, but I kind of have gotten over that as a whole. The entire movie does a pretty good job, especially if you're doing a shark movie. They almost always use CGI now, so there's no more mechanical shark. But it is cool to see a new shark movie hitting theaters on the 50th anniversary of Jaws, which is a huge monumental thing for the genre as well. Going to be celebrating that myself. Are you a big shark movie fan, Phil?
I love Jaws. I love Deep Blue Sea. I thought the 47 meters down movies, for what they were, pretty good.
Sure.
I'm down for some good stupid shark fun. I'll go watch the Meg 3 whenever it comes out. Yeah. I'll watch Jason Statham roundhouse kick a shark.
There you go. Yeah, and some kaiju and other fucking monsters or whatever they have in that thing next time. Absolutely, dude. I mean, I've always been a fan of the genre. I can't say that anything has ever really come close to matching the terror that Jaws instills in you whenever you watch it. Still to this day, I've seen the movie probably 100 times. I've seen it on every format. I've seen it in theaters so many different times. But still it has that elemental, terrifying underlining theme throughout that just hits you. It's this primal feeling you get when you watch it. But
yeah,
I'm still down to see a shark movie, and this one is, I kind of likened it to like Open Water meets Split. So this is going to be
Open
full
Water?
spoiler.
The Shallows? Yeah.
I liked The Shallows. I will say right now, I like The Shallows. I do like that movie. That was probably the most effective newer shark movie I've seen in quite a while when that came out.
You also know what I like about The Shallows? That it's a realistic depiction of like how you would just not age, but look like shit if you were stranded on a rock with
true.
like blistered lips, as opposed to homegirl in this movie chained up to the bed with like fake eyelashes, perfect makeup. It's like, okay, I'm being a little nitpicky, but come on.
Yes. So for those uninitiated, Dangerous Animals, the synopsis: when Zephyr, our main character, a savvy and free-spirited surfer, is abducted by a shark-obsessed serial killer and held captive on his boat, she must figure out how to escape before he carries out a ritualistic feeding to the sharks below. It's pretty cut and dry, and I think the movie itself is pretty cut and dry. It's a pretty standard, I would say, by the book, paint by numbers thriller, but that's not to say that that's a horrible thing. I think it's perfectly easily digestible popcorn fun for, a very small thriller.
Yeah.
What was your initial thoughts on this movie?
Sort of what you just described.
Okay.
It's not mind-blowing.
Right?
End of episode. See you later.
There it is.
It's not an amazing, blow you out of the water kind of movie, but it's a solid thriller. And I always appreciate these movies that aren't trying to deliver some sort of message that's, it's like, this is just fun horror to me.
Sure.
More thriller than horror, but
absolutely.
Yeah, man, I had a good time with it. It's not, there's certainly some flaws with it, but the charismatic villain in Jai Courtney, the setting of the movie, there's some beautiful cinematography, very rich saturation, high contrast colors going on. I love the sunset, sunrise shots.
Oh, those were wonderful. Yeah.
Beautiful to look at, entertaining. Yeah, I think it could have gone harder, especially given Sean Byrne's track record. Like The Loved Ones and The Devil's Candy are pretty fucking brutal. I was waiting for this movie to step over that line and get extreme, but it kind of straddles that line and plays it a little safe.
Yeah. I think that's where it stays more in the thriller realm than it goes into the horror realm. We get a couple, I'd say, I hate to call them neutered gore scenes. We get gore in the movie, but I think we're so spoiled in this day and age, Phil. I think horror movies in the past couple of years, we've gotten so much amazing gore that at this point in time, you see decent gore in a horror movie, or a thriller rather, and you're like, okay, that's okay. We're kind of numb to it at this point. We just expect it.
Yeah, and aside from just gratuitous gore, I felt like the body count was going to be higher.
Yeah.
I think there's only, 2 or 3 deaths? Three deaths in the movie?
There's 3 deaths in the movie.
I thought it was going to be like Terrifier on the water. or something.
Yeah,
which I kind of want to see now.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Someone, well, you didn't see Screamboat, did you?
Screamboat.
There, okay.
I haven't seen
that's on the
Screamboat.
water, and lots of people get killed. Actually, I did not hate Screamboat. Never got a chance to review it, but I think
gotta
it's
watch it.
silly, stupid fun. It serves its purpose perfectly. In this movie, I liked the opening. So these tourists, Greg and Heather, visit Tucker's Experience, which is this shark cage tourist attraction run by Tucker, who is played by Jai Courtney. And they're on their way out. They're riding on the ocean. He remarks on apparently how when he was a child, he survived a shark attack. He shows them these gruesome scars, that which he apparently states changed his entire view on the species. And then after that, these I guess apparently they met at a hostel or something. They're not even together or anything, these characters. They go into for a cage dive, and they come out. They're singing like Baby Shark and shit. He's like, he's getting them to be comfortable with him. Like he's just this fun-loving, beer-drinking, boat captain hanging out there with the sharks. And when they come out of the water after their shark encounter, he kills that dude, Greg, stabs him in the fucking throat. He falls into the water, and this Heather chick, he just grabs her along, and then the movie starts. And I was like, that was a pretty cool, I think, opening to the movie.
I love the opening. I like how the stabbing just comes out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Jai Courtney is incredibly charismatic, and he has a way of just disarming his victims with his charm.
Yeah.
And much like Wolf Creek, I mean, the obvious comparison, Australian horror, charismatic lead villain, lures in unsuspecting victims. But yeah, the intro, love it.
Yeah. Then we quickly move along, and we meet our main character, Zephyr, which, have you ever heard that name before?
Not in person. It seems like one of those made-up movie names. It's kind of like Kincaid. It's like you only ever hear that in movies. When's the last time you met? Like, what's up? My name's Kincaid.
Never. Never. I will say, though, I always heard the name Brady from Halloween 4, and then I met a Brady, and he's on this podcast. So it's actually possible. I never thought I'd meet one.
Yeah.
Brady, are you coming in or what? And I literally say that to him like every time I see him. I think, even though Halloween 4 is his favorite Halloween movie, so he's got a claim to fame for that. But
by the way,
yeah,
you're getting one of those Ghoulish Gary Halloween 4 prints?
I want one bad, but I didn't buy one.
Oh, my God.
I want one bad. That was so cool, dude. I love that
going online
print.
June 13th.
Oh, I thought they were already on sale. Okay,
no,
so I still have a chance, dude. Yeah. I've kind of, I was telling you pre-show a little bit, my collecting of like alternative movie poster prints and stuff has slowed down a lot, but I did just buy a Phantom City Creative Catwoman Batman Returns one the other day. So what's another one? What's a Halloween 4 being added to, right?
I don't buy a lot myself, but when I saw that one, I was like,
dude.
Oh my God.
And you got to give him credit, man. He could have just done that print without having the mask in it, but he put that mask in all its glory and just right fucking there, man. And it works. It works. A lot of people hate that mask, but again, we could talk about Halloween 4 for another 3 hours here, but we meet this character, and right off the bat, I mean, Loy Sauce and I were having this discussion when we reviewed Prom Queen, that characters in movies, especially young characters, have become more and more unlikable lately, to the point where they're just like assholes all the time. And this Zephyr character, we meet her, she's like stealing a Slurpee at a 7-Eleven or something, and this dude Moses, who's a real estate agent, is just trying to get her to help him out. He just needs to jump his car or something, which I didn't really, I'm like, dude, your car is like at this huge building, and I think it's a Volvo or something, like you really just can't get there and have someone else jump it. You're just trying to ask this hot girl at the gas station.
It's a good point. Didn't think of that, but yeah.
Yeah, I was like, but it's a way, it's a way for the characters to connect and meet, and then eventually end up fucking each other in her van.
Bond over Creedence Clearwater Revival, because that's what 20-somethings these days do.
It's unheard of. Would never expect it.
Out of all the bands,
yeah, I don't know.
CCR, no disrespect to CCR,
no.
They got some jams, but not to like jump too far ahead, but to deliver the one-liner. What'd she say before she shoots him?
Oh, dude.
The name of the
God.
fucking song. It's like,
yeah. Oh, man, that ending, though. Oh, that was...
What'd you say? Oogie boogie, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that's like such a generic ass thing to do in a movie. We just talked about it again. Prom queen, the end of the movie. It's either your name, motherfucker, or another line, motherfucker, or fuck. Fuck is always included in that line every time, no matter what. But anyways, we meet these characters together. They kind of hit it off. There's some romance there. As quick as amount of romance as we can possibly get with this runtime. I think the movie's only 98 minutes. Yeah. So it moves along, but it's got a nice brisk pace. And Zephyr is played by Hassie Harrison of Yellowstone fame. So she's not like a total novice when it comes to performances. I think she delivers a serviceable performance in this thing, because she has to do, I think, a lot of emoting, show a lot of terror in certain situations, and also have a boldness to her character, because we know she's been through foster home after foster home, and she's kind of like doesn't want to let anybody in, and she claims that she's better off by herself. So this connection with this Moses character, she's very reluctant to even invite him down to the water to go surfing in the morning after. I'm like, whoa, you don't want the guy to come surfing with you, but you just fucked him for like an hour and a half. I'm like, really? Yeah. Come on. Poor dude makes her some pancakes, comes out the door, and she's gone. Can you imagine? Has that ever happened to you, Phil?
Man, pancakes are always such a chore to make. That's too early.
And they look perfect, dude.
Yeah,
this
they
guy made perfect pancakes. I'm like,
I think they were BluBrry pancakes.
They were. They were.
She fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are the best kind of pancakes.
Instead, she's eating like these white bread rolls.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this character just, dude, she's got like a huge bag of them in the back of her van. She just lives off those carbs, man. But I guess if you're a surfer, though, right? I guess.
Yeah, she her acting performance was fine.
Yeah.
The character wasn't written. I think a lot of my problems with this movie come down to the writing. A lot of it's just very generic. They didn't make her very likable.
That was my whole point.
For her too much. Her dropping her like, oh, I'm about to blow your mind with how like people that go to work at a 9 to 5 are slaves, and I live in my van, dude. It's like, okay.
How did you buy that van? Who gave you the money?
Right. Okay.
No, just
tell me you have a rich dad without telling me you have a rich dad.
One of those foster parents bought you that fucking van. I'm telling you. If you're just a surfer and you I get it though. They're trying to have this free-spirited character, which it makes sense because to juxtaposition of that character and the Tucker character, and then that connection that he tries to put onto her, being like, we're both hard edge characters. So I'm getting ahead of myself. But so she goes out to go surfing. Moses texts her, and basically I think she disses him. She just said like it's an open ocean when he asks if he can come join her. Right. He decides not to go that moment, but ends up going in the morning. Within that time frame, she's asking for like some kind of key for a surfboard, and that Tucker dude just like out there, like he's out there stalking, man. Like because he said later he's not a surfer, right? So what is he doing out there? Literally just stalking his victims? Because he did say later, I don't surf, but much like the sharks, ...
Right, yeah.
So he's just out there looking for...
stalking his prey, looking for victims.
Just like a shark, but he's near the ocean.
He seems to search out, like, kind of free spirit loners. Like, there's that moment in the movie where the girl with the long dreadlocks walks by and he zeroes in on her. Yeah, like,
he doesn't go after her, but I liked that scene because it kind of showed his formula, like how he actually chooses his victims. I thought that was pretty menacing because he's just sitting there in traffic and his eyes veer over to the left or to the right rather, because they drive on the right over there, and and he sees the chick and he's just like, man, she's not wearing a fucking bra. I gotta take her back to the boat.
It's a white girl with dreadlocks.
Yep, gotta
she's
grab
definitely
her.
a runaway.
Gotta grab her. But he grabs Zephyr. Dude, he throws her in like this backpack, like this thing that he made that's like a makeshift bag. Fucking zips her on up in that thing.
Surfboard.
Is it a surfboard bag? Okay, I was gonna say. So she fit in that thing. I'd never seen a surfboard bag like that. So, also not.
It is
a
very thick one. It's like a coffin.
Yeah, which is this cool imagery. And we have this cool overhead shot of her like in the back of the truck as he's driving back to his boat.
Kind of reminded me of a little H2O action.
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
Myers in the body bag.
Yeah, a
While
little
she
bit,
was about to
dude.
get up and unzip it.
Yeah, man. Come up from behind. If he just stops the car and she goes through the windshield.
Can't help myself. It always has to go back to Halloween.
Always putting some Halloween in this shit. I'm always cool with that, man. But yeah, she wakes up, sees the other character. Heather is there, and she's just like chained to this bed, and they're both chained in there. They kind of have this conversation about what the situation is with this Tucker dude. And we can see what he's trying to do pretty quickly. This guy just gets off on putting these victims in the water and seeing them get eaten by sharks.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty fucking intense kink to have, if I do say so myself.
Were you a little surprised to see the girl from the intro of the movie pop up? I was like, oh. See, like, I thought that would have been a great time to add in another kill. Like, kill her in the intro, have it be crazy and brutal, title card. Then have another scene with him luring in, like, a different person or something like that. Because
the girl with the dreads?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
like,
right?
That was the most interesting part. Seeing Tucker talking with somebody, using his charm and his personality, and then he turns that switch, and then they realize they're in deep shit. Like,
well, I think I see your point. Also, on the other hand of that, I think there is that. I think maybe the movie's trying to show you some mystery about what this guy does, because she's still alive. So you're like, what is he doing with these girls? Like, when you watch Split, for example, that movie, he keeps those girls in that room forever. Like, he just feeds them. You never really know what he's going to do with them. So I think it added some mystery. But then, of course, we see what he does is he puts this poor girl on this crane in the middle of the ocean, pours a bunch of chum in the water, and Zephyr has to literally watch her get eaten alive, right in fucking half.
yeah.
It's pretty gruesome shit, man.
Yeah, and certainly a unique way of a horror villain to dispose of his victims.
Yeah.
Never seen that I can think of. It's
no,
cool.
I will say it is slightly illogical and unrealistic in the sense that, I mean, half of her body is still out there floating in the ocean. And even though the sharks are out there, and they probably will, very likely, take care of the rest of the torso floating there. But as we see in the movie a few times, there's like party boats that go through that route on the ocean. There's other boats out there. There's like a resort not far from where he is at one point. That shit could easily, if the sharks don't want that or they just miss it, could just float on, and then of course there's going to be questions about that. And we do see, which I thought was very, very cool, he takes like a memento from his victims. He cuts a piece of their hair off. He puts it on like a fishing hook. And of course he videotapes all of these deaths on video cassette, which I thought was amazing. He's like obsessed with the VHS.
Yeah,
and
I likened it to Creep.
Yeah, it felt that way to me too. Absolutely.
In my spoiler-free review, I said this is basically Wolf Creep. That's, that's
there it is,
could have
ladies
been
and gentlemen.
called.
That's what it is. But it shows how many victims he has. He has this cabinet or whatever that he has locked up in the hull of his boat, and like you see literally like a large number of these little hooks with hair on them and these video cassettes of how many people he's actually killed. So
I thought they should have maybe showed one or two of those cassettes.
God, you just really want more gore. Out of
Hey
this
man,
thing,
I
don't
just
you?
want some. Give me some carnage, baby.
No,
Like,
I know. I don't disagree.
Carnage.
I could have used some more. I did like the shot though. I did love after the Heather character is eaten in half that you do see that shot. That's like you see the wide shot from afar of the boat and like her torso just floating there.
Yeah,
like that was
cool
pretty
shot.
eerie. That was pretty
like
cool.
Her head just bobbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool.
That's cool. That's a little Jaws influence there. Absolutely.
Sure.
Then of course, like, we have Zephyr just by herself, and we're just waiting to see what he's actually going to do with her. He leaves her on the boat, and I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but this Moses character is just like dead set on finding her. Like he's searching everywhere for her. He tells the police, no one believes him. And there's apparently like a beach watch stream you can watch, and he finds it and sees that the Tuck, her van goes one way, and then 20 minutes later, the Tucker's truck goes the opposite way. He looks that up, finds the boat. He's there. It's all extremely convenient, of course, that he was able to find it that quick. And he happens to get to the boat just as soon as Tucker's going to find a new video camera, because in the last incident, Zephyr kicked his video camera in the fucking water. That shit is gone. And I found this to be one of the most unrealistic things, Phil. I have to mention this to you and get your comment on it. Sure. He was so easily able to go into a thrift store and find a vintage, usable, working video camera, camcorder.
Happens. Sure, it happens occasionally. I don't know what thrifting is like in Australia. Maybe.
That's true, I guess, but I've rarely seen one, and I do a lot of thrifting, a lot of antique stores and all that stuff. I almost never see an old school camcorder, and if I do, they're like, doesn't work, used for parts.
Right.
So
yeah, no. But I thought that was an interesting addition to his character. When she throws in the camera, you see that it's such a big part of what drives him is documenting this.
Sure.
And what he calls the greatest show on earth, basically. He's obsessed with filming these things.
We actually do see him watching Heather's tape and eating his dinner and drinking wine. So
oh yeah.
So we actually do get a glimpse. It's the same chick. So no, Phil, you didn't get to see another person get killed.
I know, right?
Yeah, but it's
in a horror movie.
In a horror movie.
I know.
maybe in reality, I think being very serious about this, maybe they're just trying to be a little bit more classy with it, to be a little bit more like Jaws and a little bit less like cruel Jaws,
Yeah.
And you have this villain performance, and I think that's really the focal point, that Jai Courtney, like you said very well earlier, he's very charismatic, he can lure you in, and he's very menacing. I mean, he's funny too. Mm-hmm. He's got this I don't even know how to word it, but he's likable, he's funny, and he's also pretty scary at times.
Sure.
And he's clumsy as fuck. I mean, he might even be able to rival Ghostface as one of the most clumsy villains in a movie, because he's tripping all over the place. I mean, Zephyr, she's been down there, she's barely eaten, and when they have face-to-face encounters with one another and she's trying to get loose, she's able to kick his ass a little bit. And I was like, okay, this guy's fucking huge. So
yeah,
he beats that Moses dude's ass pretty bad. And it was such a crazy moment, dude, where Moses gets on the boat, he finds that she's in there. He's trying to get her out of there, and then he's actually taken Tucker down, man. He's got him, I think, like a broom post on his throat or something. Mm-hmm. And then that drunk boat dude, I don't even know what he is. That the guy on the other boat with the little dog that hates Tucker.
He was a bit of a red herring.
Sure.
Up until that point, I was like, oh, are they in cahoots? Does this guy maybe make drinks for the people and slip some of drug or something?
Yeah.
That could have been an interesting little twist, but no, he's not aware of Tucker's operation and walks in and sees hot idiot strangling Tucker. Kind of a bit of a plank of wood. He didn't have very much charisma, personally, I thought.
Oh, what, the Moses character? Excuse me. Josh Houston.
Yes.
Yeah, he had some really good abs, though, so that was cool.
Great abs on the kid. Not a lot of charisma.
Yeah, I didn't even happen to look to see if he had done anything else. He's got the looks. I don't know about the performance, though.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest faults with this movie. It's a very small cast, and if you're only going to have 5 or 6 actors, the 2 leads got to be...
Well,
you got to bring something, especially when they're playing off Jai Courtney, who is... crushing the role.
Absolutely. Apparently this kid was in Thor Love and Thunder as Zeus Pretty Boy, and he's in the Dune Prophecy television series in 4 episodes on HBO Max. So
does it literally say Zeus Pretty Boy?
It does. Zeus Pretty Boy. At least we know he's going to get roles where his looks will get him through it. Hey, right? He doesn't have to even speak. Just let him bang hot girls and But I agree. I thought he was okay. Mm-hmm. Because most of the movie, he's just kind of walking around looking for Zephyr. And then, of course, as soon as he gets taken out here, he's chained up. And we know that Tucker's going to use him as bait, like a shark would, or like what he does with his shark, to lure Zephyr in. Because that's his ultimate goal, is to get her, to capture her. Because he says, you're like me. you're free-spirited, you're a loner. You know, he just keeps talking her up, and she's like, I'm nothing like you. And they have this face-to-face. So, of course, we get to this point where, you know, he's trying to get Moses to get eaten, and he actually basically gets out of it. Like, he doesn't move, he doesn't get attacked by the sharks. And of course, as soon as he pulls him out of the water, he does the same thing he did to the dude in the opening. He just stabs him in the side. Not the throat, because he needs to be able to live, but he lets him suffer, takes him back down into the hull there, and chains him back up.
But don't worry, guys. He survives for some reason.
So they can live happily ever after.
Yeah, like, I thought, given that this is Sean Byrne, like, if you've seen The Loved Ones, I went into this expecting, like, oh, this is going to be fucking extreme. Let's go. Nah, not really.
You know,
and that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that, like, I need, you know, Terrifier levels of gore, but at least kill the dude. Like, add a little drama to the ending.
I felt like he's the only thing, strangely enough, a one-night stand is the only connection she's had with a human in that way her whole life, that her life must be pretty shitty. So maybe you want our heroine to walk out with some kind of happiness at the end, you know, but
she's walking out with her life.
She is. That's true.
That's
Broken fucking
good.
thumb, which I thought that was interesting that she did that. And at first you're like, oh, she's instantly going to get out of the handcuffs. It's not instant. She has to squeeze that shit through. That's pretty gruesome stuff right there.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
Even
I
a
thought they
suggestive
were
way.
I thought they were gonna pull a Gerald's Game there for a second, do like a whole degloving.
Yeah, but no. And then of course she almost gets away, which I thought that was probably for me, because I'll be honest about this. As much as I enjoyed the movie at a surface level, I didn't feel like really any big amount of suspense from this thing. I wasn't on the edge of my seat. But this scene I liked because she gets off the boat after she has a face-to-face encounter with Tucker. I think she stabs him in the... She breaks something off. And she stabs him
in the neck.
Stabs him in the neck, and that, which is like the most... We talked about that last time. That every movie this year, stab a dude in the neck. But he makes it out of there. She jumps off the boat. She's swimming in the middle of the ocean. She doesn't give a shit about the sharks. And she's trying to go to like apparently this is a resort because you can see the lights and the music. He gets in his boat. He pulls right up, grabs her. She's back in the fucking... She's done.
Chokes her out.
Yep.
I thought it was a missed opportunity to throw in a little bit of shark suspense there. Like, if you saw a shark coming after her and she has Tucker chasing after her, like, that would be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Which one's going to get her first?
That would have been really cool, actually. Because to me, the scariest thing about the water is nighttime. I will never go in the water at nighttime, dude. And this is something our listeners know that have been listening for a long time. I won't even go in the ocean, I'll go up into my waist. I'll never go any deeper than that. I just won't. Ever since I was a kid.
Seriously?
Jaws, dude. I won't do it. A pool's different. I'm not even kidding.
Hey.
Jaws is the reason why. A pool's different, but I will not go in the ocean. When my kid was growing up and she was little, she always wanted to go further in. I'm like, go ahead. I'm not going.
If my feet can't touch the bottom of the ocean, I get a little panicky. I'm like, my feet can't touch.
It's just, I can't do it, man. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I get it.
But I did go in the water on the beaches of Martha's Vineyard where they shot Jaws, the exact beach. I put my legs in, and then I looked around. I think I've told this story before, but it was like the next day we saw on the news that on the outskirts of that beach there was a great white. Yeah, on the island of Amity, aka Martha's Vineyard. But so yeah, I agree with you. There could have been more shark terror there.
One thing that kind of drives me nuts about that scene. Okay, so I watch a shit ton of MMA. I've seen thousands of people get choked unconscious.
Did he do it wrong?
Well, no, he had good form.
Okay.
He was under the chin. He had it locked in. But whenever you choke someone unconscious, they wake up in like 15, 20 seconds at the most. But he like drives her back in the dinghy, puts her on the boat, gets her in the lift, and then throws a bucket of water on her, and she's like, huh. It's like, that's what woke you up.
Didn't he drug her again, though? I thought he put the drugs into her.
Oh.
I think he did.
Well, yeah, when she was getting away, he stabbed her in the back of the...
That's
okay,
right. So there it is.
correct.
There it is.
Damn it.
I almost forgot, but I was like, because I remember the whole thing is that's how he's able to, control his victims, is he always drugs them. So
Okay.
yeah, there's
Scratch
that thing.
that. My
there
bad.
it is. No, it's all good because I almost forgot myself. But there's not much that happens in this movie, so tiny details like that I'm actually able to remember. But yes, of course.
Well, yeah, the escape and capture, like they do that. God, it feels like 4 or 5 different times.
Sure.
By the end of the movie, I was like, man, this is getting a little repetitive.
Yeah, I mean, it's foiled. She's drugged, and her and Moses are on the deck, and now Zephyr's in the harness, and she's lowered into the water, and we get the money shot. We get a huge great white, which I was waiting the whole movie because, of course, we get I think a bull shark earlier on. We get a couple different sharks. He mentions them by name. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, the great white is there. She comes face to face with it, and it swims off, and she just like. She swims back on. Tucker takes her, and on the boat, this kid is just like almost die. I mean, he should be dead for all intents and purposes. He should be fucking dead by now. I mean, even though it's at his side, he should have bled out. He's not eating anything. He's not drinking any water.
Yeah, but Justin, he's hot. That keeps him alive.
And they have his shirt off the whole time.
Dude, hot people don't die.
I guess not. I mean. I'll say this, unless they're an asshole, then they die if they're hot. This kid was not an asshole. Okay. He was at least likable, Phil, even though his performance wasn't that great.
He's a good kid.
But yeah, so Tucker is basically about to finally kill Zephyr. He's had it with her, and she grabs a harpoon gun and shoots him, and he goes into the water, and a shark devours him in the most ridiculous, insane CGI Aladdin way I've seen in so fucking many years. A great white comes out of the water like they do with their prey, like you'll see on Discovery Channel on Shark Week or whatever, and like they do all the time. Arch out of the water in slow-mo, grabs him, and it was so hilarious because the way they CG Jai Courtney in the mouth of the shark, dude, I almost fucking fell out of my chair.
Something felt a little off there.
Oh. A little, yeah.
Well, look, at the Alamo, they had the live stream Q&A after, and apparently they just CGI'd out a seal and replaced him with Jai Courtney.
I will say, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't understand, like, budgetary reasons, like what's their visual effects budget. Being that this is a small movie, it was good enough.
I don't
disagree. It did look a little weird.
I don't disagree with you. I think the cool thing is whenever they marry actual footage of sharks in the water with CG sharks, and it looks decent enough where I can just say, okay, I know that it's not the same thing, but it looks okay. With this, when you go into this thing, expectations are based on budget. What is the movie? And so I didn't hate it. There's a couple very egregious shots, CGI shots of sharks and stuff, but they do a pretty good job of the work with the sharks that I give it a pass. You know what I mean? I didn't let that totally affect my, a couple points off here and there or whatever. But then, of course, the ending is, a happy ending. Zephyr signals a passing boat with a flare. It's kind of a cool image, her on the top of the boat with the flare. She's victorious.
Yeah. Looked great.
Yeah.
Shot
looked cool. Great cinematography. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'd have to say, Phil, I think we could probably both agree this thing serves its purpose pretty well. I think it's cut and dry. Like I said earlier on, it's a, start to finish A to Z thriller. Like it doesn't really do anything we haven't seen before. The premise is slightly original, but in terms of execution of the mayhem and the thrills, it's kind of stuff we've all seen before. Yeah,
and you forgot to mention that homeboy Moses wakes up and, happily ever after, yada yada, go fuck yourself.
Oh, so happy ending.
Yeah, happy ending.
Well, technically we don't know if he lives or not. Like, who knows, man? Maybe they put him in a fucking ambulance and dude's dead.
They should have showed that.
It's perceived that, and this harkens back to Jaws, even though Quint, who is like, the shark, they're the complete adversaries in that movie. And of course, the shark takes Quint. He had to take him. But at the end of the movie, we see Richard Dreyfuss and, Roy Scheider swimming to the mainland. We know the shark is gone. But this movie, in the sense of saying the true villain is Tucker, Jai Courtney's character, it's not the sharks. Because you can't really vilify a shark in the way they did in the 1970s. You just can't do it anymore, man. There's too many animal activists, and it's just not factually correct,
That's true.
I think
we saw Tucker even says at one point,
Yep.
he mentions mosquitoes killing, millions of people, but sharks barely kill people, but we fear them more. And there's some thought-provoking questions in this movie, and I like that they didn't vilify the sharks.
Yeah. There's a lot of realistic shark behavior. We see if you don't move a lot, the sharks mostly just went on their way. And he even talks about it in detail, which, I mean, other shark movies have done this 20 years ago, but saying, like, usually when they do attack you, it's by accident. So this guy does not. This isn't a Quint situation where in Jaws, Quint, like, literally wants to kill all these sharks because it's payback for the Indianapolis. This is a guy who got bit and learned about sharks and admires them. And I think that's a novel approach to your serial killer stalker villain, if you will.
Yeah.
Try to make him a little bit relatable before you see him get harpooned off a boat and eaten by a shark. But I think we're there, Phil. So let's do some final thoughts and trash it or treasure it. And I'll throw it to you first.
I will say, despite its flaws, I will say treasure it. This movie was a lot of fun, even though... I feel like I mostly sort of shit on the movie, but I did like the movie. It was fun. I like the villain, the setting, cinematography. I wish it had a better writer and give that to Sean Byrne and let him do his thing. But yeah, given the director's track record, thought it could have been a little bleaker, a little bloodier, but still a good summer thriller.
Yeah.
And I'll watch it again at some point. I could see myself throwing this on every summer,
Now, I'll say, that won't be me.
But as I said that, I was like, well...
Are you really going to rewatch
Will
this?
I? No, I'll rewatch it.
Okay.
It won't be a once-a-year
All right, well,
Jaws
once a year
type
thing.
of...
Okay, that's. I was going to say, man, I love Jaws 3. I don't even watch Jaws 3 every year. But
I thought that Jai Courtney should have survived. Everybody dies. He gets away. Like, this could have set up.
This could have been an ongoing thing.
Yeah,
this could have been an ongoing franchise. I mean, like you said earlier, though, the thing doesn't look like it's going to take off or anything. But I'm going to follow lock and step with you, and I'm going to treasure it. This thing is not anything that'll blow your mind. It's not going to, be one for the record books. It's not going to be in the top 5 list of the best shark movies ever made. Absolutely not. But it's a very serviceable shark thriller where the shark stuff is decently done. A great villain. The character work is, as basic and paint by numbers as it has to be with our characters, but it's well done enough where you're like, okay, I can kind of root for this character. You know from the beginning that our main character is never going to die. So to your point of like having everyone die, I knew none of them. They're not going to die. We only get a couple of deaths in this thing, but to be fair, it did a good enough job of entertaining me as a summer thriller, as you said. So it's going to be a treasure for me, ladies and gentlemen. That is our full spoiler review of Dangerous Animals out in select theaters now from Shudder and like a million other production companies that helped make it.
Yeah.
If you're in the mood, this movie, that's the one thing I was going to mention, is it absolutely feels like summer. So if you're looking for a movie to get you in the summer vibes, you want to go out to the theater and see something, this absolutely was like, yeah, man, beaches and water and sharks and chicks in bathing suits and shit. Yep, that's what you need. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks again, Phil, for gracing my presence today on the Epic Film Guys and joining me for this. If our listeners have never heard of you or heard an episode with you, tell them who you are and where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, the Spookhouse Podcast, YouTube, same. And I have some very cool stuff coming up. Justin, I have been talking to you about this for the last day or two. I recently filmed a video with this guy that has the most insane prop collection I've ever seen in my life. So those YouTube videos will be coming out. So subscribe over there. Lots of cool shit on the way.
Awesome, dude. Really appreciate it. Once again, if this is your first time listening to the Epic Film Guys, thanks for checking us out. If you're a long-time listener, thank you so much for sticking with us. We love you, love you, love you. We're available on every single podcast platform known to man, and we are at Epic Film Guys on social media, literally everywhere. So once again, thanks for listening to the show. I am Justin.
And I am Phil.
And as always, we'd like to ask you to keep it...